But
All right. Okay, here we are. So, hi everyone. I'm Shayna J, One Heart Mission, and this is my good friend Mark Dobkin, who is a wonderful man that lives in his heart. He many years ago started off as a in the More Love community and became a assistant facilitator, I believe you is what you would call it, to those programs of transformation and living more in the heart, as well as currently with all the years of practice. Then we met in Ashland, Oregon, where we were both living, and he became a Diksha giver, which was close to my heart. And then now he's living on the East Coast in Asheville. Yeah, Asheville, North Carolina, and is part of a community called Heart of the Matter. So I consider Mark to be an expert when it comes to living in the moment, living in the heart, living in a way that is truly empowered. And so to start off this series, I'm so excited that I've been guided to do this at this time. We're going to talk about living in the moment and mastering the moment. And what does that do for your life, your growth, and your ability to be present with other people and all of the things that you do in your life? So, hi, Mark, and welcome, and thank you so much for accepting my invitation to talk. And what might you add to what I just said?
Well, I want to tweak what you said just a little bit. I don't consider myself an expert at anything.
Well,
In fact, a
that's my
practitioner, a practitioner of having my heart open and being present. And it's the most challenging thing I think there is for me to do or to be. And every day is a challenge sometimes to just let go and be in the moment.
yeah.
And it's a decision and it's a choice. And sometimes it's a decision and a choice 25 times a day. Just like, oh, I'm bring back, right? We can both identify with that. Oh, someone triggers you. Oh, well, yeah. Come back, speak the truth, let go. Here we go. Oh, someone else triggered you that night. Oh, they said something to you that really triggered you. Oh, okay, hit the floor, meditate, get the feelings out, pray, meditate, let go. Okay, present again. It's that way sometimes. And sometimes it's a year straight of amazing, but it's everything in between. There's no right way or wrong way. So that's what I want to elaborate about right now. It's like down and dirty, get down on the ground, be real, like that.
Like that. Absolutely. I totally agree. It is like that. But I think what I'm hearing you say that I love is that the conscious awareness of being on and off. It's like, how did you develop that? What can you share with people that will show them how you were able to develop yourself to the point where you could actually see, oh, I'm off, no, I'm on, oh crap,
Well, thanks to the leaders of Heart of the Matter transformation and my master who's no longer in the body, Kalindi, we just work with each other to get very aware of what's going on and how it feels and how it looks. And there's ways that we all have our patterns and we know what it feels like if we want to know what it feels like to be in that pattern. And we know almost like the circumstance that's going to come up or it's going to happen, that trigger is going to come up where you're not present. You're spinning away into la la land from your past, past hurt. So it takes some support and help, and it takes desire. But once the desire is there, and you've got people around you who can also point it out to you, oh, there it is again. Not like you dumbass, you blew it again. but something very gentle, like, hey, there it is again. You want me to give you support in this way? There it is. There it is. And we just keep moving like that. Shane and I will, gently help each other like that too at times. There's not much that we need to do with each other because she's so far down the road and there's no triggering that she does with me. So it's easy. But for some people, like you go to the holidays and, you're just off and running. So
Right.
awareness, desire, association.
So would you say that those things are goals of yours, or what would you, if you look at just living in the moment, mastering the moment, what's the overall or underneath motivation?
Service to others.
Service to others. Yeah.
Total
And
love.
having love present in your relationships, no matter what they
Total
are.
love, pure love of the divine to give
Yeah.
to others. You can't do that if you're self-absorbed in some tweaking feeling or whatever have you. It doesn't work that way. So that's what drives me.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying too, in that for me, one of the biggest hurdles, one of the biggest challenges I had to living in the moment, which really kept me going, motivated me to keep going, was that I kept reacting to what people would say, and then I had no presence whatsoever with them. And I also lost my power. As soon as I was reacting, I lost my power, or you could say I gave away my power, and I had no further control at all over my mind. My mind would just go back in, and all the reasons and justifications why I should feel the way I felt.
Yeah, there's a saying that a master gave us at one time. She said, if you give the illusion or that part of you that gets triggered, you know, uh, some time, even up to like a half hour, that thing, if you want to, some people call it Maya, some people call it the illusion, the Christians call it Satan. If you give in to a half hour of that, whatever that is, that negativity, then that presence kind of comes in even more, or that thought that has you believe that you can't make it and even get out of it.
Yeah.
This is what Shane is describing, and it's very real. So we got to nip it in the bud as soon as possible.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what Shane is for. Shane is a nip it in the bud as fast as possible coach.
Yes,
Quick
thank you.
nipper.
I, thank you, sweetheart. You're right. Well, that's how diligent I am with myself. And when people want to work with me, that's what I offer them, is that view where they get to see, and I feed back to them, this is what you just said. Is this where you meant to go with it? Because you know where that's going to take you. Or are you going to be in creation? Because living in the moment, mastering the moment, is living in creation, is honoring the way you feel, at the same time being so present that you literally get to create where you'd rather be and exactly where you are. It's just, you know what I'm talking about, right? And I've
Yeah.
seen you do that too.
And people feel it. You're like a magnet, when you are really present with someone and connected into your core depth. People can't resist being around you. It's just it's true.
Yeah.
They want that so badly for themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Love.
The love. That's the love we're looking for, isn't it?
It is.
It's, because you for so many years, you had this beautiful thing you kept saying to me, and we would work with it all the time. I have this longing inside of me. And the longing, but it wasn't presence, was it? What did you find out about that?
Well, there's two sides to the longing. If you go deep enough into the longing, it is full on presence. It is the love. The longing is the love in itself.
Right.
But if you're on top of the longing and staying in a more, and I'm not saying this is bad, but it is a little more on the surface, superficial, spinning in the feeling of sadness, there's a difference between sadness and longing.
Right.
And you can be completely in your longing and you can shift your attention to someone else and be completely present to them. But you cannot do that if you're wallowing in some boo-hoo-hoo.
Right. Exactly. And even my teacher from India said, I'm not going to quote him exactly, but it was something like the deepest longing belongs, it actually is in every single one of us.
That's right.
And it's when we actually feel it and allow ourselves to go deeply into it that we see our true self.
That's right.
Yeah.
And most people are afraid of that. And I just want to tell everyone, it's the resistance to the longing that creates the suffering. It's not going into the longing itself. If you just allow someone like Shayna to hold you through that longing, and it takes at the start for sure. I don't know anyone who can go that deep without having someone hold them and guide them through that. But wow, there's a whole other world that will open up. It's where the divine can get a hold of us and really pull us through something.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's something that we only dream of that we want. But when we actually get there, we can see how that desire matches the dream that we thought maybe one day we could have it. It's actually better. I think.
It's a lot better, and it never fits the picture. In fact, the mind can't, right, Shayna? The mind can't get a hold of it. It's
Oh,
impossible. It's so way beyond the mind's capability of understanding because it is not of this world.
yeah,
It really truly, and it's not foo-foo. I'm not saying any new agey foo-foo. It's very real, and it's as palpable as you just touching your own arm. It's that palpable.
it is. It is. And it's that powerful at the same time.
Yes, that's
we
right.
we don't hold ourselves in the power that we truly are, and this is what one of the grace moments of living in the moment and mastering the moment is that we really do live in grace and we understand what it is. We may not be able to articulate it, but we have it in us, and that it starts to have a life within us of its own, that my grace informs me all day long. So it's now, not at the beginning, but now there's been some mastery. I didn't do it all by myself, only my determination kept bringing it to me, and I stayed with it just like you were describing earlier. And that mastery now has me living with what I call such a flow that there's literally miracle after miracle that I wouldn't have predicted. I only had a heart's desire to live my life, in a really good way, to be of service and to help to raise the consciousness in every single person, because every single person has that deep longing in there, and it's a pathway,
That's right. That's right.
pathway down and a pathway out.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, so beautiful. You have so much of the depth that people, kind of tap into, but mostly we don't have the time to explore. And I really would like to blow that excuse right out of the water, because if you don't have the time to explore yourself and the great gifts that you are to this world, then your longing is going to stay your longing.
That's right.
Yeah.
I can speak from my own experience. I was into high intensity sports like mountain biking, surfing. Um, it none of that. Most people, a lot of people get into those hobbies and sports and like that,
Adrenaline.
relationship, great sex. But the reality is, none of that holds a candle to what's already going on inside without having to have that stimulation. It's really true. And I wouldn't have believed it unless I allowed myself to go to this place. But my goodness, I've surfed waves in Hawaii and Santa Barbara, some of the best breaks in the world. And it's just like, okay, that was a nice rush, but there's something so much deeper if we allow ourselves the time that actually wants to happen. It's not even like a big effort to try to get in there if we just allow it to happen and stop distracting ourselves from it. So Shayna is offering a beeline, it sounds like, to go in there and have the most fulfilling experiences of your life.
Well, it's really true in what you're saying, and thank you for saying that. Because I could literally see in going after those high intensity sports, what you're really looking for is the fulfillment of that deep longing and living in the moment of that, living in the mastery of, it's for me, it's kind of like that. Oh, the power that's in there. And instead, because I was a skier, I did downhill skiing and I did black diamond downhill skiing.
So, you know,
And hey, I fell off of a cliff too. So I've had experiences also. The falling off a cliff was not an adrenaline rush, but the Black Hill Diamond skiing definitely was. Oh my God. And what is that skiing behind a boat? Water skiing?
water skiing, yeah.
Oh my goodness, so wonderful. But in those days, it literally was to satisfy something. Well,
Yeah.
it was to do the group thing as well, because a lot of my family are into that as well. So it was really, that was a family effort that we did. But at the same time, nobody's with you on those skis. You're there with yourself. And it's that letting yourself have that acceleration, that freedom. For me, that was total freedom. But then as I started growing spiritually, I saw it was the same thing that was constantly living inside. That power was within me, that freedom, to live that way now is like, this is a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was another reason that I also did some of that. Who
Tell me.
wouldn't love surfing perfect waves and like that? But there was a part of me too that wanted to avoid the layers of pain, the rage that I had from my sister's death, from a
Oh,
childhood that was rocky, from being around toxic parents that showed an example of bitterness to each other, lack of respect and love and care. And yeah, I just wanted to get away. But to go inside and find and experience what Shayna's talking about, it's 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 moving and you want to move towards that. It's not running away from something. In fact, it's fine to run away from and want to get away from the illusion and all that nonsense, to find a refuge inside of ourselves, the sanctuary that's always there. And I have not mastered this by any means. I was doing some work on my greenhouse, trying to do a setup and hinge a door, hang a door, and nothing was working out. And I gave some 4-letter language and I stormed in here a little late and said, Shayna, please, I need 10 extra minutes. And, and I let go and I'm fine, but mastery, maybe I've got a picture of what mastery is. I don't know, but whatever that is, I want more of. I want more of that. I want to live there 100% of the time if that's
no, but
possible.
sweetheart, what you described is living in mastery of the moment. You didn't hold back. You just said what you needed to say in the moment. That's living in the moment. So people kind of have this idea that mastering the moment is some sort of idealistic thing. It's not. It's fully
Yes.
embracing your authentic soul self right now.
Well, there
Right
it
now.
is. And it's the only way to fly because holding back sucks. And we all know, every one of us knows to hold back our words. I'm not talking about when it's appropriate to just zip it, but how many times have we been afraid to put ourselves on the line because we don't want to lose the love or rock the boat? We don't want to feel a certain thing. If they feel something, it's actually going to have us feel something. We put it on them, but it's actually us. We don't want to experience that.
Exactly.
Uh-uh. So,
Right.
I mean, but letting loose over the last few months, and actually more like few years, but especially the last few months, is it's actually incredible. It's called integrity. At least for me, I call it integrity.
Yes, it is integrity and it's very credible.
Yes.
It's very
You can
credible.
chew on it too.
Arr.
Hi.
So I will just say for you, you know, you bringing up the things that you were trying not to feel, you know, so going out and go surfing. I grew up at the beach, you know, Southern California. So basically we're at the beach a lot. And in those days, it was, I can't wait to get to the beach, to get away from. I never would finish a sentence. It was always, I can't wait to get to the beach. But the rest of it was to get away from the daily stress, to get away from the screaming and yelling, because I lived in a lot of screaming and yelling, and I was part of it. And to relieve the tension and to have nothing else to think of except just being in the sun and letting my kids play on the sand and jumping in the water to cool off and eating a sandwich that I made for them and all of us, you know, and that was it. There's
Yeah.
nothing else to think about. So all the stresses would go away and kind of give me freedom, sort of like taking CBD oil right now. You know, if I
Didn't think of
get
that today, but that might have been
it was my CBD oil of the past.
right.
The same thing for when I was a skier. It was true then too because I was a business owner. You know, I had a jazzercise studio with 1,100 people that came through my studio every single week. 11 of those classes were mine that they attended. You know, 100 people in a class. It was a lot of responsibility, plus being a mother and a wife, a lot of responsibility. And of course, I handled it. But the skiing, no, oh, this is the key. So my students literally gave me skis for my birthday one year, and they said, "You're going to learn how to ski." And I was like, "Oh my God, I don't know if I can do that." I was totally fit. I was 16% body fat, you know. It's like, why not? You know, you guys show me how to do it and I'll do it. And then it became, I invited my family in and, you know, became a whole group family thing, like I mentioned earlier. And then I realized, as you're saying it now, I didn't realize it in the moment. I did that so I could get away. The same thing I did with the beach, to get away from the stresses, to get away from the typical conversations that would create the yelling, the pressure of all those things that I felt I had to control in my life. And now all I get to do is control my own inner thoughts. That's all I control. Everything else is up for however it shows up. And controlling my inner thoughts allows me to master the moment. But
Yes.
I'm not trying to stop them. I mean, by controlling them, I should say consciously controlling them. Is like watching them and looking at them like you did when you were out in the greenhouse. You're just out there going, this effing door isn't working. Ah, you know, that's being in the moment in full form. And then what happened? You didn't bring it in the house when you were done, right? It's over,
It,
fully expressed. How
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, yeah,
How beautiful. So be careful of the concepts that we
yes,
want to, the reasons why we want to do something, or maybe just be aware that, okay, well, this is an antidote. Like, I'm pissed off and I need an antidote. Oh, I know, I'll go scream. If you need to do it that consciously, that's cool. And I think you're in a place now where you just take your reaction to the nth degree in the moment, and that keeps you in the moment, and you don't carry it. It doesn't carry any energy into the future or into the rest of your day.
right.
How beautiful is that?
Yeah, that's how it works.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
And what does it feel like?
It's a lot more peaceful to live that way for sure. And I can be much more present to people and myself. And that's more enjoyable. And I can hear the whispers more of what wants to happen and recognize what wants to happen next.
Yeah.
And, uh, and that's where the grace is, to be able to be still enough to listen to hear what's being told by call it the true self or the divine or God or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
ourselves, and that's an incredible way of living.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
You want to say something? Go for it.
There's something around desire that I want to say that's connected to all this that you're bringing up right now, Shana, about
Okay.
mastering the present time. And that is, I suspect, and I don't know this is a fact, but if our desire is being expressed when we're very present without the watered down version of emotion and dragging up some pattern or whatever, I feel like, call it the universe for lack of better words, and to communicate, responds when it's clear. It seems clear, and there's a response. And I'm just thinking, like, I'm not a one to experience a lot of joy in my life. I think bliss to me and ecstasy is just being still and inside. I'm not saying outside, but still inside and being very present and peaceful, calm, very deep calm. And I thought, before this year started, I thought, man, I'd like to experience a lot more joy. I just want to experience more joy. And I haven't experienced like a consistent, a lot of joy for a long time. I'm pretty hardcore when it comes to my path. And I've had concepts I've had to, let go of about certain things. And so this person enters my life. I've never met her before. I met her on Facebook and talked to her off and on for 3 years, less than 50 hours total in 3 years. I let her spend some time with me. That person was such a joy, like a core. Her core is joy. And she just flooded me with it. And there was no way in the world that I wasn't going to get like just on the wave of the joy. I never laughed. I can't remember laughing so much in the last 5 years combined that I did in the 5 or 6 days that this person was here. Now,
Oh,
if that's not instant, like, if that's not instant answer of the desire or prayer, I don't know what is.
right. So
So
this is how simple manifestation is. Go ahead. Finish what you were going to say.
if that's the only thing that comes out of this working with
Yeah.
Sheena, I would say, go for it. You want to manifest stuff, have your desires come to fruition.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That is exactly what happens. It's, focusing on mastering the moment, being fully present, being consciously aware. All of these are, all the same thing. They're just different ways of saying it. The joy or power that you do end up feeling, or bliss, whatever, however it shows up for you, comes from the universe. So when you're giving to the universe a commitment like that, to live that way, the universe is giving back to you. And that's called manifestation. You
That
don't
makes
do
sense.
anything without the universe, God,
That's
your
right.
divine. You don't. You
That's right.
think you are, because you have that aloneness, all oneness. Aloneness is all oneness. Look at the word. All oneness is aloneness. And so we take that aloneness or loneliness very personally. But if we just stay with it consciously and not create any more stories about it, because we already have plenty of stories about it.
We've got enough to last 100 lifetimes.
Right?
I mean, I do. I'm this.
Oh yeah, I do too. But that is what gives us the synchronicities, instant manifestation, surprises that are like, what? How did I do that? You just have to know that you did it because what you're committed to.
Yes, that's right.
So beautiful, Mark.
And I think it's important to address what gets in the way of being present. And, these a lot of feelings and emotions that get tucked away from God knows how many years of conditioning from society and from parents and from others and, yourself, even your mind, and to address that and be aware of that and let it all fly. Just let it keep flying appropriately, of course, and gently. Uh, and it can be radically violent, but you still don't hurt yourself. I mean,
Right.
like wailing into a pillow can be a violent thing for some people,
Yeah.
but it's an incredible thing if it's done consciously with prayer and desire to let go.
Yeah.
And bam, there you are being present in the moment with that. And then you can have that channel clearer to manifest and connect to yourself and have things happen.
Well, what you're speaking of, I love this because it is all energy. It's
That's
what do you
right.
do when you feel the energy? And it could, be all the gamut. It could be joy, the energy of joy, but it could also be the energy of pain, and anything that's in between that takes you off center. You know, you go off center when you're in joy, you go off center when you're in pain. But what is going to keep you right here is in the moment. They're both right and they're both good. Feeling your pain is every bit as important as feeling your joy. And so here we are going, oh no. And again, this story, we tell ourselves all these stories about what we should and shouldn't be doing and what it even should be like, instead of just accepting it for what it is.
Yes.
Just accepting it for what it is, this beautiful moment that has you in it with all of your stuff unexpressed. And then all of a sudden you make the change and you express it, and it's like, so what happened to the energy? What happened to it? It's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
It's all energy. And we've added all this stuff to it. So
That's right.
beautiful. And it's not either one. Neither one is right, neither one is wrong. It's just living as a full human being as God intended. We are created to live fully in this earth suit that we're in, and we haven't done it. Now, who's responsible for that?
Right.
So the choice for me, it's like, well, I choose to be responsible. So what does that look like? I don't know if you ever told yourself that in your pathway, but early on I said, I choose to be responsible. I wonder what that's going to look like in my life. Oh my goodness, the things
Yes.
that came then for me to clean up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a time you finally said, I'm going to own all of it. And that changes everything.
That changes everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it helps you along the way. It's a challenge, but it helps you along the way because you learn from everything, and then you learn to learn from everything. You
Yeah.
actually have to learn from everything that happens for you, because it happens for you, so you will grow.
That's right.
Isn't that exciting?
That's right.
To me, that's the excitement of being alive. Living in
Yeah.
the moment, mastering it to whatever you have that is
Yeah.
interesting to you.
It's yes. It's a total free for all. You don't know what's going to happen next. And the thing that stops the works too is thinking that I know something, that I got to do it a certain way. And that just slows it all down. You know, for example, this door, I'm going to need some help hanging this door. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
going to call my friend Mark, and who knows what's going to happen from that conversation with Mark.
Right.
I don't know, but I do suspect that good things will come from it.
Oh, two marks together. Oh, baby. I've come to the realization that people, just as a side note, people with the same name have a certain frequency. So when you get together with your twin, with your name twin, yeah, you're right. You don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'd love to
Maybe
hear
he
about it.
needs, some support right now. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
It works that way sometimes too. You think, you're guided to do something in one moment, and you think it's going to be for some reason, and around the corner there's something else. It's actually much more important that happens.
absolutely. That's why I wanted to do these interviews. If people, thank you, if you're still listening to us, that's why we're here. If we're doing anything that will help you see something that you didn't see before, that's the whole purpose for being here. For your eyes to keep going, popping open, your perceptions to keep popping open. And Mark, I'm grateful for you. You're the first person that said yes. So here we are. And you're helping, you have the same commitment that I do. Not only do we want to be awake, we want to help others along the way. How important is that, to be serving the very people that we came here to live with? This whole world, we came here to live in community. And so, are we doing it? With a lockdown, I guess we're not so much, but we found another way. Good thing technology is on our side, huh?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. Wow. So we talked about the challenges, we talked about the values. Is there anything else that you would like to to encapsulate this whole conversation about living in the moment?
I'm continually reminded, because it's been so drilled in me, to create a story, or evaluate and judge right, wrong, good, bad, like that. And I've been doing this work for a long time. It's still ingrained. To not do that, and to give oneself a lot of room just to be themselves, to experience with no judgment, no label, no story, just let it fly. So Shayna, thank you for, pointing that out about yet another concept. I'm mowing them down as fast as they show up. It's just like, okay, I've taken care of 178,323. There's probably another 22,000, or maybe there's only 10. I don't know, but let's just let it keep bringing them up and just go, oh, yep, nope, don't need to go there anymore. So
Right.
it's great. I hope people take you up on your offer, Shayna.
Yeah, actually, I've had a lot of yeses today, and I'm feeling pretty happy. I've had a lot of yeses, people that are going to join this conversation one-on-one with me, and it makes me just thrilled to do something that is hitting home. The people like you, the wisdom that comes out in the way we live, and the harmony that ends up, you know, bringing us because we're living in resonance with other people, and just learning more and more about energy and about words and about conscious awareness and living in the moment, all these things that are concepts, but they're very closely aligned to our truth as well. And they're the truth that has given us the pathway to become more aware, more conscious, and more alive. More alive. My teacher says, you're not just living, you're existing. And I'm like, that took me a while to go, no, I'm really living. No, I'm really existing. And I went, okay, that's it on that. I am going to live. I'm going to really live my life. It changed everything for me. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that is so right on where I am too. I thought, man, this year I am not going to do anything on automatic anymore. I am committed to being in the moment. And if I feel the desire to go A or B or C, I am not going to be going into my head, evaluating every little gnat's ass about it. I'm going to go for it. And this year is going to be really interesting. COVID or no COVID, political, whatever have you or not,
Right.
I'm flying.
Right. Me too. Yeah. 2021 is just going to be whatever it is. And I'm going to live my life fully, fully in my, as much as I can, in my conscious, authentic soul self. I love her.
So do I.
And I love you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much for participating with me and really letting it rip. I love it. You're so right there and the perfect person to start this off with me. Give me the confidence in bringing something forward that's going to be of value.
It's great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So mark us, subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends, and I'll be back. So come back and see what else we're doing. Join the group, Mastering the Moment, and I love you all.